powerhouse of growth and development. It has been that way since the year 1957, when Malaysia obtained its independence from the British. Since then, we have seen massive growth in technology and infrastructure. Communication, transport, economy all form a bullet train poised to hit development at light speed. They say that the only constant in life is change. In Malaysia, changes occur every microsecond. Development occurs both physically and from the human perspective. All of this sounds great, but what about the standard of living? Malaysia is known as one of the few developing countries in the world to have a first-rate infrastructure. From high-speed internet connection to premium brand outlets to majestic skyscrapers that gain international acclamation, one question still remains. Is this really how Malaysia is? Or is this just a mask to cover up a horrible truth?
I think that the standard living of Malaysia still has room to be improved.
So talking about the standard of living in Malaysia, well, I guess if we compare with other countries, definitely as a citizen of Malaysia, we expect more.
I feel that the standard of living in Malaysia is too high.
As fresh graduates, they might need to work 2 jobs at the same time to have a decent life.
Especially when our former Prime Minister brought up the issue of our Vision 2020, and now it's 2013, away from our Vision 2020, it's getting closer. But during that time, wow, it's a wow thing to all the people in this nation, and everyone is expecting it's like how advanced we could be in this country. But when now it's like we are getting closer, we don't see much advancement in terms of many areas. So especially if let's say we are a taxpayer, so we pay let's say on the road, we pay road tax, then we expect at least a good condition of it.
Although we look outside, it seems like very good, everyone is living, but then is this not true?
RM5, boss.
RM5? So expensive ah?
Yeah, boss. Nowadays very susah, We need to pay rental, everything, inflation some more.
Rental,
Sorry lah.
inflation. I know inflation tipu money nah.
Okay, thank you, boss.
No. Oh, hello there. You're probably wondering what what's all about, right? I remember the good old days when mee goreng used to cost 50 cents. Boss!
Yes?
Bungkus, boss!
Oh, 1 more ringgit. Thank you.
Bungkus tambah sama 1 more ringgit. Bungkus I take the whole plate and go
Boss.
Hello there. Now, the world is filled with uncertainties. So how is the standard of living in Malaysia adaptable to a fresh graduate with a job? So what we need now is a fresh graduate with a job. How convenient, a fresh graduate with a job. Are we taking that? Here you go. So assuming she has 3,000 ringgit as a base salary, will she be able to use it all? Find out. So, we can see that 3,000 ringgit isn't even enough to survive in KL. Hey friend, I need to borrow 500 ringgit, can I? Want to borrow? Hey,
No.
Hey, my friend, hey,
No.
hey, I need the loan shark coming after me,
We hear people working overtime or working 2 jobs. With everyone fighting for jobs, what will happen to those who do not get one? Will they be able to survive? What will happen when desperation sinks in? Another crime committed, all for the sake of survival. Is this what a positive standard of living is supposed to be like? Back to reality. Despite the fast-moving pace of development, Malaysia is plagued with the possibility of imbalance in the development of its people and the quality of life. It is true that we see the numerous infrastructures that captivate the hearts of the people. We see people walking in the streets, minding their own business, masked by these imposing structures and advancement in technology. It's true that we see the towering skyscrapers that adorn our nation, earning us a place in the history books and attracting the world beyond. But what happens to the things that we don't see every day? What about the rural areas? We see the underdeveloped areas of Malaysia are plenty. With no proper roads or housing, it is hard to believe that such underdevelopment can occur. Standing in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, we bask in the magnificence of the towering giants and realize that there is more than meets the eye. Walking down the sidewalk, we start to feel a sense of emptiness. We see people hurriedly walking around, trying to catch up with progress, trying to survive and trying to improve. It seems so much like a struggle that the survivors fail to pay attention to the effects of an oppressed quality of life. The oppressed can be found in the streets by the hundreds, begging for the kindness of those who are too blind to see the reality. It becomes heartbreaking to see that even the young generation are not spared this unfortunate fate. Malaysia is made up of many walks of life, many races of many religions. We share in common the urge to go after the same goal, a good quality of life, affordable food, affordable housing, affordable transport, and affordable progress are all hopes that we as citizens want to achieve. Many have their dreams diminished, all in the name of survival. If nothing is done, how are we to explain to the younger generation that their dreams of becoming a dancer cannot be achieved because it won't earn enough to survive in Malaysia? How are we to be heartless enough to condemn their progress.
That concludes a very nice day. I should record all the different scenes in Kuala Lumpur. Standard of living, I don't know, seen like so many different things, like differences of infrastructure. Seen a lot of like homeless people. Things which make you think twice. Things which make you think like you're lucky enough to get an education. Yet, some people are not even lucky enough to buy a meal. So if people were to ask me one question, what do I think of the standard of living in Malaysia? If until today there are still people who are homeless, still people with poverty, I would say the standard of living in Malaysia still reeks.
Taking a moment to reflect from behind the windows of overpriced cars, we realize that as much as physical development improves the standard of living, it will only be beneficial if the citizens of the country can keep up with it. It will only be beneficial if the citizens can afford it. If there are people who cannot sustain a decent life, if there are people who have to fight in order to survive, if there are people who have to suffer for others to benefit, if there are people who fail to value others because they are blinded by their gains to live, how can we even begin to say the standard of living is good? If nothing is done to address this problem, how are we going to create a future for the children of tomorrow?
So I choke on some